The menu at popular chain restaurants are going to look a little bit different as we get into next year. We first reported on this bill back in April when a 9-year-old little girl went to the Capitol to advocate for it. Since then, the bill passed nearly unanimously and the governor signed it into law. ABC 10's Becca Habegger circled back with that little girl to see how she's feeling about it now.
Yeah, Alex, we first reported on this bill back in April. It is when that 9-year-old girl went to the Capitol. This was the first of its kind law in the entire nation. And so we circled back to see how she's feeling given her role in this new law.
I hope that it raises awareness.
9-year-old Addie Lao and her mom, Robin Lao, say trying to eat at a restaurant with Addie having multiple potentially life-threatening allergies is difficult.
When you go to restaurants, we try to communicate with the staff and tell them about our allergies, ask what each meal contains. Oftentimes, we don't get a lot of good information. It's, oh, let me go check, back and forth, back and forth. 20 minutes later, you're still not sure if the information is correct.
Yeah, it was really hard to eat out.
They teamed up with Senator Carolyn Menjivar, who also has severe allergies, on Senate Bill 68, also known as the Allergen Disclosure for Dining Experiences, or ADDE Act. It requires restaurants with at least 20 locations nationally to disclose the top 9 allergens alongside each dish on their menu. Those are milk, eggs, fish, crustacean, shellfish, tree nuts, wheat, peanuts, soybeans, and sesame.
My name is Leo Taco and I support this bill.
Back in April, Addie and her third-grade classmates spoke at a news conference and Senate committee hearing in favor of the bill. Senators also heard from the California Restaurant Association and nonprofit Food Allergy Research and Education, which opposed Senate Bill 68.
This bill requires on-menu printing. We have a vastly dynamic supply chain network. And this bill, we believe, takes a static approach.
Menus cannot capture allergen risks introduced to sourcing, manufacturing, or even cross-contact during kitchen prep. As written, the bill would create a false sense of security for food allergy families.
Since then, amendments to the bill allow restaurants to either print the allergens on the menu or have it available in digital format, like a QR code. Still, the California Restaurant Association has said listing allergens for each dish will add a burden to restaurants. Robin says she believes this change could help restaurants.
Our hope is that by improving the allergen information at restaurants, people like us will dine out more.
The ADDE Act passed with overwhelming bipartisan support, unanimously in the Senate and with only one no vote in the Assembly. Governor Gavin Newsom signed it into law on October 13th, much to Addie's delight.
So that night, we had a dance party, and day after that, I had a party in my classroom with apple cider.
Now, the bill might be controversial, but one thing is not. Addie is adorable.
She is so sweet, so poised, and what a great experience to advocate for legislation on behalf of her health and other people like her who have allergies. So very impressive young girl.
Now, Becca, I do want to ask you, because there are some exemptions to some restaurants. Give us a little bit more of the details on that.
Yeah, so this law does not apply to restaurants with fewer than 20 locations nationwide. It also doesn't apply to smaller restaurants like food trucks or food vendors at farmers markets, right? Smaller operations. So we're talking about chain restaurants with 20 or more locations nationwide. But, Addie and her mom are still hoping that the culture changes with restaurants, much like we expect more or less now to kind of walk into a restaurant and see the calories listed. That has become more common. They're hoping that even restaurants not required to list allergens will do so. And they hope, as you saw in the story, that restaurants will see perhaps more families like theirs coming in and impacting positively their business, bringing more business to those restaurants. So anyhow, this goes into effect July 1st, but we have other new laws going into effect January 1st. And we want to tell you about those. And streaming now on the ABC 10 streaming app, we break down California's newest laws in 2026 and how they impact you. You can stream the special right now on our free ABC 10 app.